and welcome back. We are on the second match on court 9 now. We have Peter and Faye up the far end against Bill and Jang. For me, this will be very interesting as both teams are in my group. My partner Benita and myself. Should expect a very high quality match here though. Both teams very, very good together. Oh, and it looks like we have a change of ends. So we've got Faye and Peter starting off. Peter to serve at 0-0-2. So it will be Peter serving to Bill. And straight away we have a different start than the first match on here with a lot of dinking going on early.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to come and join me? We've got Louis here for a little bit of commentary.
Oh, I don't know about that.
What
have we got here? We've got Peter and Faye.
We have
Bill and Jang.
Exactly. And we are at 1-0-1. Probably expect quite a bit of dinking in this match. The last one was very much 2 up, 2 back, so very different commentary this one. Peter with a very good deep slice return, keeping them back and making sure that himself and Faye can get on the front foot early in the rally. Good leave there. Faye getting out the way in time. Two on one. Jang with a good deep return there. 2-1-2. We may have someone back in commentary again. It's a very different game than the first one. A lot of dinking already going on. And as I say that, Jang with an overhead to put it away, yes.
Jang, another badminton player, I believe.
Yes.
Very powerful overhead.
Peter very much focusing on that deep slice return. I think that's quite effective on this surface. Hitting the flat or the topspin return just sort of sits up with the way that this surface grips the ball.
That was a fine passing shot.
Faye with a very strong forehand there.
A couple of years ago, I had a little coaching session with John Moore.
Oh yes.
And he was talking about his 10 principles of good pickleball. And I always remember number 2 after the deep serve was the deep return. And I think the importance of a deep return has never been more important than now, because with the quality of the drives that people are pulling off, if you put the ball half court, you're really asking for trouble.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, and I think the returning will. The third shots will get stronger and stronger as well. I think the driving from a mid-court ball is obviously getting very, very strong. But if you're looking at some of the players in the States, even off those deep returns, if they're not hit with enough venom, you're starting to see them drive those deep balls as well, and they're starting to get a bit of turn on it. So I see that being a bit of an evolution. Peter's very much got a very good slice return that's staying very low, and it makes it very difficult to hit the ball hard off something low. So I think we'll see a lot more of that as well in the years to come.
Something I've heard said many times is that if you hit the ball hard, then you're going to get that pace back with added power.
Yes.
So sometimes a sort of slow, loopier, deep return to give yourself plenty of time to get to the net can work very well as well. And of course, if you don't put any pace on your shot, then your opponent's got to put all the pace on to come back.
Yeah, and I think that's what's fun about pickleball, isn't it? There are so many different tactics that you can implement to try and get
and mix it up. Yeah. Another fine passing shot.
Some quick hands on this court, very good.
I think one of the things that I've definitely taken out of this tournament has been new shots that I need to go back and drill, because I've spent a lot of time drilling third shot drops and dinking and the like, but there's definitely a need to drill dealing with a hard ball put straight at you.
Yeah, I think the one thing that stuck out to me is just how good the level's been. I think there's been a huge improvement since some of the past tournaments. I think everyone's really been practicing, and I think lockdown's definitely helped. People have had time and they've wanted to get active and keep playing. But I think the level has been very high. I think you're right. Some of the shots have changed a little bit, and we're looking at a different style of play maybe. But I'd hate to play you after you've gone back home and practiced for a little while.
That's very kind of you to say so. I need a new hip first, unfortunately.
I'll trade you a hip if you trade me a back. Just a little bit too much juice on that from Peter there, but quick hands all round.
Very even scoreline at the moment, 5-6.
Well left. Well left.
He's a legend.
Yes.
We have Mr. Mitchell on the scoreboard, and Karen Mitchell just going all googly-eyed, watching him turn the score over. Karen doing a fantastic job running the tournament here. I don't think enough can be said as to how hard it must be for not just her, but all the volunteers trying to organise as many matches that have been going on.
It's been transformational for pickleball in England, having people like Karen step up to these roles. I mean, it's completely unpaid, and they do their jobs with such professionalism, and it's everything they do is with the sport at the heart. There's no ego or anything like that. It's just all about the sport. Wonderful, wonderful people.
Sorry for any explosive language you might hear. Faye lets everyone know how she feels about her shots, good and bad.
I think she said Pfizer, which is the jab that she had, I believe.
Ah, right, yes. That makes sense. Clearly me not listening properly.
Yeah, I was AstraZeneca.
So for anyone watching these matches at home and really wanting to get into pickleball, or they've just started their pickleball journey, what a couple of nuggets of advice you would give to people just starting their journey to try and get to a tournament like this in the next couple of years?
Well, it's a very good question. We've certainly, in reception here, we've had lots of people asking about it, what it's all about. One of the great things that...
I don't think anyone was going to get that one back somehow, but wishful thinking from Faye.
One of the great things that Pickleball England have done is they've got like a club locator. So if you go onto their website, you can look at any pickleball activity in your area, and I can honestly say, and I'm sure James will back me up on this, that the pickleball players it's just like a huge family. You'll be made so welcome. So if you're interested in giving it a go, don't worry whether you've played sport before or not. Just get yourself along to your local group, and I promise you they'll make you welcome.
Yeah, hit the nail on the head. I think that for me, coming from an individual sport like tennis, which was, I hate to say it because I love tennis, it was a slightly toxic environment. Everyone's sort of selfish and out there for themselves, and coming into a sport like pickleball that really has a very strong sense of community and everyone really caring for one another and trying to help each other. I think you're right. It's the least intimidating individual or in this case doubles sport to get into, because everyone is very much on each other's side and really inviting and really trying to help one another. I couldn't agree more with you.
Just away. The other thing to consider, anyone that's interested in having a go at pickleball, is that it's actually an incredibly easy sport to pick up and get going with. The racket, which is called a paddle, is not strung. The ball is very light, and so anybody, regardless of experience with racket sports, can very easily just get used to hitting the ball very comfortably. It's very hard to hit it wildly out like you can a tennis ball, for example. Except.
Trust me, even when you're pretty good at tennis, it's easy to hit the ball a long way out.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's almost akin to table tennis in the sense that you're on holiday and there's a table down on the beach, and anyone can just go and have a perfectly good, fun game of table tennis. And pickleball is the same. Clearly, during the course of the day, you'll see some pretty outstanding play. And believe you me, when you're on the receiving end of some of these shots, it's pretty tough to deal with. But equally, it's a very, very easy game to have good fun at any level.
Absolutely. I think barrier to entry, I would probably sum it up as, it is a very easy sport to pick up and go and actually play a game. Within, 20, 30 minutes of playing for your first time, if you have any level of hand-eye coordination, within 30 minutes you'll be competent enough to be able to play a decent game with someone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's completely opposite to a lot of other sports. I 100% agree. I think it's low barrier to entry, very, very social, and I think people should just come out and try, because it's quite easy to get good pretty quick.
Yeah. And of course the other thing, with tennis and badminton, which is where I've come from, and I know your tennis, you have to have a big bag of rackets because you break strings so often, and particularly with these heavy spins, the top spin, the strings tend to go through one another like a saw, don't they? So you've got to have a big bundle of rackets, and each racket is quite a lot of money. Well, pickleball, there's no strings to break, so.
I can't tell you how excited it makes me to not have to string a racket anymore. I was breaking strings every hour and a half of play.
So there you go.
I'd have to have 4 to 6 rackets in my bag at any one point, and for every practice session I did, I'd break a string.
Yeah.
And then it's another 30 minutes, and it also gets very expensive. And I think a lot of people that aren't in racket sports, it's not just the expense of the racket, it's then the string and the maintenance. And the paddles in pickleball are very, very easy to use, but they're also inexpensive compared to a lot of others.
Yeah, you don't have to spend much more than sort of £50 to £100 to get a nice paddle.
Yep.
And I think a top paddle is probably in the region of 150
Yep.
or so.
That sounds about right.
But you only need one. Whereas you buy tennis rackets, each tennis racket is probably 150.
Yes, at least.
At least, and you need a garage full of them.
Yes.
And then the strings break with regular monotony. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you because my
Absolutely,
daughter's going to train me up for another role in helping downstairs.
Fantastic. Really appreciate your help with the commentary, and I think it's my time to leave and for Chris Mitchell to take over very soon.
Thanks, James. Good
Thank
luck
you.
with your match.
Thank you very much.